When you think about the fact that something this small is going to become something this big within a matter of months and then produce food that will sustain you and me, you can't help but be amazed. Welcome to the world of seeds. The importance of seeds in a good garden ecosystem can never be undermined. In this session, we'll first have a look at the types of seeds, the features of good seeds, and then learn how to sow seeds and germinate them and save seeds for future. In general, you'll come across 4 terms connected to types of seeds. They are open pollinated, heirloom, hybrid, and GMO. In open pollinated or OP variety, pollination happens through natural agents like wind and bees within a single variety of a plant. These are also known as desi seeds in India. They are genetically diverse and are well adapted to local conditions because of years of successive growing. They also remain true to type, which means the daughter plant has the same characteristics as the mother plant. Heirloom seeds are open pollinated, but they are passed down within a family, while the regular open pollinated seeds are passed down community of farmers in a specific area. In hybrid seeds, cross-pollination is done between 2 different OP varieties of a crop to get desired qualities of both varieties in the cross-pollinated seed. This is called F1 hybrid. But any successive generation is not true to type and is less resilient and vigorous. GMO or genetically modified organisms, or in this case seeds, are not made in the fields but in the lab. The gene sequence of plant is modified to suit certain human, or should I say capitalist needs. Irrespective of what big corporates want you to believe, these seeds are a known hazard to our health and the health of our planet. So GMO is a complete no. In organic agriculture, open pollinated varieties are used, which produce more sturdy, resilient and vigorous crops. But sometimes it becomes very difficult to get good quality local OP seeds. In such cases, you can use F1 hybrid, but only as a short-term solution. Seed is the starting point of your plant, and the quality of the seed needs to be good for the plant to do well. Good seeds, among other things, are resilient to pests and diseases and adverse weather conditions. They ensure healthy plant growth and higher yield. Good seeds also have good physical quality. They are clean, free from debris, they are of uniform size, color and weight, and with no signs of fungal infection. The daughter plant resembles mother in all aspects, thus maintaining genetic purity. Good quality seeds also have higher germination rate. Seed packets usually have information on the type, that is OP or hybrid, germination rate, purity, and expiry date, etc. Check this information while buying seeds. Sometimes your gardening store may be selling unpacked seeds. In such a case, check for the physical purity of the seeds before buying them. Before we sow seeds, it is always good to treat it with a cow dung based solution like Amrit Jal. It increases germination rate and also acts as an antibacterial and antifungal agent. You just need to soak your seeds for about 30 to 60 minutes before sowing. For bigger and harder seeds, seed treatment can be done for a couple of hours. A common question that always comes up is whether seeds should be sown directly in the garden or it should be first started in a seed tray. Well, plants do not like to move around from one place to the other. Hence, in a perfect world, I would sow my seeds directly in the garden. But in real life, there are limitations, and hence, there are certain situations where I would start my seeds in a seed tray. First, to make things run in parallel. Suppose there is beans growing in a container, and I plan to plant tomatoes after it. While the last batch of beans is growing in my container, I can start my tomato seeds in a tray. And when bean plant is done, I plant my tomato saplings there, thus saving precious garden time. Number 2, to increase germination rate. The seed tray mix that I use helps in faster and better germination. Additionally, I can provide a better microclimate to make the germination process run better. For example, if it is cold outside and seeds are finding it difficult to germinate, I can place my seed tray at a warm place inside the house to ensure easier and faster germination. Number 3, to avoid soil-related diseases. I can make sure the media on which my seeds germinate is either inert or a healthy one. Coco peat is an inert media. By adding good quality vermicompost to it, it becomes a healthy media for the seeds to germinate. Lastly, young saplings can be susceptible to sudden weather changes like strong winds, heavy rains, or scorching sun. Hence, it is better to nurture them in the controlled and protected environment of a nursery till they are old enough to fight it out on their own. However, the bigger seeds, like that of beans, do not like to be transplanted at all. Hence, I treat different crops in different ways. This table shows the seeds that I sow directly and the seeds that I start in a seed tray. There is no hard and fast rule for this. It is just that I have found out through my experience they work better for my garden this way. In fruiting vegetables, I like to start the ones with small seeds in a seed tray, like that of tomato, cabbage, eggplant, capsicum, and cauliflower, while the ones with big seeds, like different gourds, pumpkin, squash, etc., are started directly in the container. Among leafy vegetables, I find it easier to start lettuce and spinach in a seed tray, while other crops like amaranths, which have very small seeds, are started directly in the container. Except for mint and coriander, I start all my herbs in seed tray. While I start onions and leek in a tray, root vegetables like carrot and radish are planted directly in the container. And beans and peas etc. also go directly to the container. The first two leaves that come out after germination are called as cotyledons. They are not true leaves. The leaves to come out next are true leaves of the plant. When your sapling has 4 or more true leaves, it is time to transplant it. Sometimes the seed tray size is small and the roots do not get enough space. Hence, they start to wrap around the soil. That is a good indication that you are past your transplant time. If saplings are not transplanted at the right time, the growth rate is affected later on. If you have plants that are growing from open pollinated or heirloom seeds, you can save the seeds for next season. First, you need to make sure that there is no cross pollination in your garden. If you have different varieties of any crop growing in your garden, keep them isolated from each other to avoid cross pollination. Always leave 1 or 2 healthy fruits in your plant to ripen and mature. Drier fruits like beans, rich gourd, etc. will lose their color and become very dry. You can simply collect their seeds and store them. For wet fruits like tomato, you'll need to take out its pulp, separate the seeds from it, and then the seeds need to be washed and then dried in shade till all the visible moisture has dried off. Leaving any moisture will attract fungus. And please note, it has to be dried in shade and not in sun. While cleaning your seeds, washing with salt water also helps, as salt has antibacterial properties. When the seeds are dry, they need to be put in an airtight container and stored in a cool and dry place. And yes, don't forget to label your container with the name of the vegetable, variety, and the date. Some vegetables like onion and carrots are biennials, which means they have a 2-season long life cycle. They flower and bear seeds in the second season. Since container garden is built in small spaces, it is a waste of space to let a biennial rest for a year to flower. Hence, it is not very efficient to save biennial seeds in container gardening. But if you have enough space in your garden, you can always go for it. It is also worth mentioning that seed saving needs to be done from multiple plants of the same variety to maintain genetic diversity and stability. Every crop needs different number of minimum plants from which seeds are to be collected. But as a rule of thumb, 10 or more plants work fine for most of your fruiting plants. You may not be growing so many plants, but together with a couple of friends, you can grow 10 to 12 plants and then save the seeds effectively.